So following the Penguin series, I think one of the overarching questions was where was Batman during the show and how much was he really aware of during this time? So I just wanted to go through and kind of unpack this, just besides the fact that he maybe just didn't simply fit the style for the show, and not including him I think was actually a good thing for the length of the series. So starting off, I think you really have to look at any opportunities that Batman would have had really throughout this show. And I would say that there really wasn't many chances for him to show up. And this would most likely be just because a lot of the show really did take place indoors, whether or not that was intentional or not, or even for the characters, whether that was strategic in terms of avoiding Batman if possible. And we really see a lot of indoor activity, whether it's from backroom dealings, meetings, the drug operations, and the drug hideouts. And then you have a lot of scenes, I would say, taking place either in the Falcone mansion or the Penguin's living spaces. That would be his apartment, the new place that they moved to in Crown Point, or even his mother's home. But I would say really the only opportunities that were out in the open are maybe looking at the beginning of the show when you have Oz shooting at Victor and his crew, but that really didn't go on for that long. And then pretty soon after that, you had Oz recruiting Victor, or really by force, and then them getting away in the Maserati. So I don't think he would have had enough time to respond to that. The only other part I would really say that Batman could have just dove in for or been involved in some shape or form would have been in the Bliss episode. Towards the end of that, when we get possibly Oz's execution, and then you have Victor kind of coming in to save the day, it's possible that would have been an opportunity from Batman just to swoop in out of nowhere, but that really didn't go on for that long either, and it was not too long before everyone really fled the scene. And then you also have the explosion, which I'm sure attracted a lot of attention. But I would say the big thing with this was that it was in the daytime. And with all of those people around, I don't really think it would make sense for Batman or even Bruce Wayne to be in that area. And in terms of the gassing by Sophia, that really statistically would be hard to figure out which night she was going to do that. So I wouldn't say there's any way that he could have intervened to stop that either. But I do think in addition to really the lack of opportunities where Batman could have fit in with the show, you do have to look at the deleted concept or the deleted idea for the script of Bruce Wayne potentially meeting Victor in the show, because that really would have been probably the only appearance that we would have saw from Batman in some shape or form. And I don't think this would have necessarily been in the Batsuit. Just going off of the description that we were given of this, I think most likely you would have got Bruce Wayne in his street outfit kind of to blend in. And I think for Victor, I think it's maybe questionable whether or not he would have really been able to identify Bruce Wayne in this, because if he had his hoodie and hat on, it's possible that the shadow would have covered his face and he would have just been like a anonymous stranger maybe going up to give Victor advice or even some sort of a warning, just knowing his association with the Penguin. I think kind of similar to where we got the police officer pulling up on Victor. Maybe you could have got that with Bruce Wayne, or I would say maybe just a different version of Batman in this, and I think that definitely would have been interesting. But regardless, I do think it was a good choice not necessarily including this, because it maybe would have ruined the dynamic for the show. And I think in addition to there not only being an opportunity and then also cutting out the idea of where Batman could come into the picture here, I think you also have to look to the character arc of Batman during this time. And I think that and his overall mentality of where he's at this timeline in this universe is really another explanation for why he was absent in this show. And I think this deals with the end of the Batman, where we see Batman really turning away from the vengeance side of him and kind of going more into just being a sole protector for Gotham, not really trying to leash out all of his emotion and all of his violence, but really just seeing his role as Batman as more of a community service or protector-like role for the security of Gotham. And I think in addition to that, just given the descriptions and the teases that we've gotten from Matt Reeves giving us a little bit of information for the second film, we know that Batman is becoming a little bit reluctant in terms of actually being Batman. So I think due to that reluctance, it would make sense that in this maybe few week time period between the first and second movie, that he's not too sure on what he wants to do. And I think in addition to this, we're likely going to see more Bruce Wayne in the second movie, and we're going to have a lot more of a public presence for Bruce Wayne in this. So I think that would really explain why Batman isn't around too much in Gotham during this time as well. And I would also say something that's maybe overlooked a little bit is you do have Alfred in the hospital due to the bombing in the first movie, so it's possible that he's just taking a little bit more time to take care of him in Wayne Manor as well. So I think for a combination of those reasons, that's why you didn't get him here. And because of that, maybe you could have gotten a little bit of something from Bruce Wayne in this instead of Batman, and you're still having Robert Pattinson reprise his role, but I don't think that was really needed in the Penguin show either. And I think in addition to that, maybe just considering how much Batman was really aware or how much he was monitoring a lot of the events from the Penguin, it's possible, just given all of these reasons, he also didn't really feel the need to intervene because of a divide and conquer strategy. So maybe he was waiting until Gotham and the power vacuum after the first movie. Maybe he was just waiting for that to boil over, and I think we really got that towards the end of the season. So that's maybe why now you're seeing the bat signal come up, or maybe it's Gordon who now thinks that the Penguin is a true threat for Gotham, or he really thinks it's time to do something. So I think the timing of that would likely add up there, and that's why you're seeing Batman maybe start to really want to get involved. We also do know that the bat signal is just used as a deterrent as well, but I don't think that's really the case here. I think Gordon likely wants to meet with Batman to talk about the Penguin, or maybe just what happened in Gotham overall. It is possible maybe he was trying to contact him for another reason, or maybe this is a new villain that will take place in the second movie, or maybe there was something going on in Gotham during this time that we didn't see in the Penguin show, but I think that would be less likely. But I think it's safe to assume that he was somewhat aware as to what was going on and was either watching from a distance or kind of just studying everything from the Batcave, because there also was a lot of stuff that was put on the news. But feel free to let me know your thoughts on Batman not being present in the Penguin show, and I'll see you later.